Hey, Scruffy. I'm early tonight, huh? So I'm about 15 minutes earlier than our early time. Because I went to go for a run. Because it's still hot. And I saw you move to the mat maybe 15 minutes ago. So I guess that means you're getting ready for dinner, right? Even though you lied down and went to sleep. So my refrigerator problems continue. So you're getting a bunch of chicken skin and chicken bone with kibble. So I know you'll like the meal. That's probably going to take you a while to eat. The bone always slows you down. Okay, so I'm going to get the food on the table. Let me get the glove on. Okay, sit down. So my refrigerator problem is, I don't know, continues. So I was thinking about shutting down the refrigerator for 24 hours, but I decided not to, because another thing happened. I think it was last night. I didn't notice it before. Actually, I didn't notice it at the beginning, but the freezer light, when you open the freezer, there's a little light that turns on, sort of like the refrigerator light. So the freezer has one too, and I didn't realize it was not turning on when I believe when this whole fiasco started. I did notice it, I think, after I started moving the food, pulling the food out to turn off the freezer for the first time. I did notice that the light was not turning on. I don't know how long this has been a problem, but it wasn't really a priority for me since I don't care that much about the light. I'm more concerned about the refrigeration. But I think it was last night, I was monitoring the temperature of both the refrigerator and the freezer. The light suddenly started working again. And I've been monitoring the temperature roughly every hour, every 2 hours. So I start keeping a diary, and I basically record the temperatures that I see on the thermometers that I placed inside the refrigerator and freezer. And I noticed, I think, as of last night, the temperature started staying within a reasonable range. So I wasn't seeing the mid 40 temperatures or higher. And then when the light turned on, I think the temperatures looked even more reasonable. And so I started wondering, maybe there's an electrical problem or a circuit board problem that affects both the freezer light and the cooling system. So I thought I'd just keep the fridge going overnight and continue on, and I just keep monitoring the temperatures and also check the light. And so today, I would say the temperature stayed within, I think, a reasonable region. So the thing is, I'm not sure if exactly it's reasonable. So I set the refrigerator to its default, I think, of 37 degrees. Actually, yeah, before this whole started, I had set it to 38 because I thought the manual said 38 was normal, and I thought I read somewhere 38 was normal. But the print on the fridge actually says 37, and so since it wasn't cooling, I set it back to 37. Or not cooling enough, anyway. And I placed, so monitoring, let's see, 4 different thermometers. So I put 2 on the top shelf and 2 on the bottom shelf. So 2 of them on the left side, 2 of them on the right side. And I record the temperatures, and then I did the same thing, but with only 2 more thermometers in the freezer. And I noticed that the refrigerator temperature does vary. It seems to bounce between, I want to say, 32 degrees and 42 degrees. And it seems a little high, especially on the 42 side, but it seems to stay within that region. And not all the thermometers read the same when I check them, so I think part of it is just airflow, and so certain parts of the refrigerator are cooler than others, and then when the compressor hasn't been running or the fan hasn't been running for a while, it warms up and probably gets up to like 42 degrees, but I'm not sure if it's 42 degrees everywhere in the fridge, because I think when I check, not all the thermometers are that high. I probably should put more in there, but don't have enough thermometers. Actually, I probably do. I just have to pull them out of other places I'm using them. But then it starts to be, even with the diary, it's a lot of numbers. So anyway, my problem now is that because the problem seems intermittent and it seems to be kind of working now, I'm worried that any repair person I have look at it won't be able to figure out what the problem is, and if they do have a hunch of what the problem is, I don't have a good way of verifying they actually fixed it, because since the problem isn't happening right now, when they fix it, I can't prove that the problem's gone away. And so that's my deep concern right now. So that's really annoying, and so I'm trying to think how I'm going to approach this. So I need to find, I think, a very good repair person who gives me a little bit of time and gives me some good feedback, I think, if I describe the problem. And or maybe I need to contact GE directly and deal with their specific authorized repair people, because maybe they understand this problem better. But on the other hand, I've heard some criticisms about not GE specifically, but just in general, the authorized repair people. Sometimes they actually they do a worse job because they're tied to the big company, and they basically have guaranteed stream of customers, and they also have to operate on their own profit loss models that are not necessarily tied to satisfying the customer, but just keeping the big corporation happy. They might not be incentivized to actually do a good job fixing it. So I'm actually not sure which one is the better path to go. An independent repair shop that may not have all the specific knowledge on this refrigerator, but maybe at least more incentivized to try to do a good job, but understanding that they also have a profit loss margin, and this is kind of a hard problem to deal with. If it's going to cost them a lot of time to diagnose and debug and verify. Or a big company that has basically just kind of pre-dished out a certain amount of support that they're going to give you based on actuary tables, and they don't really care if they fix your problem or not. As long as they fix most problems to most people's satisfactions, they'll keep consumers buying the refrigerators, but they don't have to fix everyone's problem. So I'm not sure what to do at this point. But I should get Scruffy's food, so let's do that. Okay, so I got a lot of chicken skin tonight. So I'm trying to make up for the fact that I did not open another can of cat food tonight, because I'm still worried about refrigeration. And so opening up a new can means I need to refrigerate more food, which I don't really have the space for. Plus, I'm trying to get rid of all the extra chicken skin and bones that I've saved for Scruffy, since I don't have the freezer space anymore. Although, since I'm kind of running the refrigerator right now, and it's kind of working, I actually do have some extra space, but my concern is I don't know how long it's going to be working and if it's reliable overnight. So for all I know, it might get warm in the middle of the night and I'm not paying attention, and then the food spoils. Okay, I'm done. Scruffy's a little jumpy tonight. Brush. I was just moving my leg, stretching it out. So let's see. Yeah, didn't see Scruffy this morning, and then I brought out the water at lunch. He was behind the table again, and I tried playing the waiting game. I think I did an extra minute today, but yeah, Scruffy wouldn't budge. So he waited for me to go back in. I don't think I went in all the way, but I think I did head mostly to the door, and then he could start coming over to the water. I thought he might cave in, because when he first came out, he actually moved all the way up to the end of the table, and his feet were like right behind the table legs. And so looked like he was getting ready to, he wanted to be close to the water. So the moment he was ready, he'd go for that drink. So I thought he might cave in today, but even though I waited, I think 3 minutes, he didn't budge. So he won. Couldn't get him to come for the water. And I did chill the water because, as I said, the refrigerator seems to kind of be working right now. So I put it in last night. So actually, another test I'm starting to prepare is, so I mentioned when I first discovered this problem, I was defrosting my soup. So I took it out of the freezer and put it into the refrigerator. And usually that takes about 2 days to thaw. So usually on that first day, it's just starting to thaw. And so usually I can chip away just enough so I can get a helping for dinner that night. And then I keep it and I put it back in the fridge. And by the next night, it should be thawed enough I can start dishing it normally. But the day of the incident, it was completely thawed, and I thought that was strange, and that's what drew my attention to the fact that the refrigerator wasn't cold. So I'm not going to waste soup doing this. I don't need to defrost anymore at the moment. But I am freezing a container with just regular water. And I'm kind of hoping that time to defrost ice is roughly the same as the soup, so I'm gonna test that probably tonight. So I put it in the freezer last night to freeze, and I don't think it was completely frozen by today. So I'm hoping by tonight it'll be frozen, and then when I put it in the fridge overnight, I'm hoping by tomorrow night it will be kind of similar to what I expect the soup to be. And if it's completely melted, my suspicion is the refrigerator, especially if it's overnight, my suspicion is, yeah, the refrigerator got warm in the middle of the night. But I realize it's not a perfect test, so I don't have enough super containers, but I have a couple smaller containers, jars basically, plastic jars. And so I'm going to freeze those with water as well, and I'm going to put one in my little mini fridge, and I'm going to put one in the refrigerator, the main refrigerator, and my hope is that it melts at about the same rate. And if it melts faster in my big refrigerator, then that also tells me, yeah, there's a problem with the cooling in the refrigerator. So those are being frozen as well. So I think Scruffy's eaten most of the skin. I see bone and kibble left. So yeah, this refrigerator thing is taking up all my time. And I did call the credit card company for clarification on the rules. So first I asked them, so they require a company that has a physical location, and I wanted clarification on what that means. Because I'm just going to go through Yelp, and I don't know what does that mean, physical location, because they're coming to me, I'm not going to them. They basically said, can you search them on Google, and do they have a physical address, and can we see them on Google Maps? And so I think they said, yeah, it passes that test, it's probably fine. Second, I asked them about the claim approval process. So do I need to get the repair estimate first and then submit it, and then have, if they approve it, then have the company come back to repair it? Or do I have them repair it on the spot and then submit the claim altogether? And they said the most conservative thing to do if I want to make sure I get the claim is I have to get the estimate first and then wait for them to approve it and then have the company come back. So it's kind of the more annoying of the situations if I want to be sure that they approve my claim. And because I'm uncertain about the feasibility or the ability to easily diagnose and repair this problem, I'm wondering maybe I should play the conservative side and make them come back. So the third question is, will they reimburse the drive-out fees? So my understanding is a lot of these companies will charge you an additional fee to drive out. Some of them put it into the labor cost if you actually give them the go-ahead. So you pay them, and then if you elect to go with them, then they'll deduct that cost from the repair costs, but I don't know if everyone does that, and I don't know how that's accounted for in the claim. And so the credit card company says, one, yeah, it depends on your manufacturer's warranty. We're going to have to look that up if they cover labor, and then what else do they cover, and then I guess also how does the company account for it. So if it's rolled into labor and the refrigerator is covered, the warranty is covered for labor, then it's probably okay. If it's counted as a separate item, who knows? I hate fine print. And then let's see, do I need to get multiple quotes? And the answer is no, just find somebody I want to work with. And then should I go with the local repair person, or should I actually do the official authorized GE repair people? Does the credit card company have a preference? And they said no, they're indifferent. Choose whoever I want. And then I asked them before, do they have any recommendations? List of firms that they've worked with, recommend, pre-approved, whatever. And they said no. Just look them up yourself in the yellow pages or something. So anyway, I think that's about where I am right now. So I still haven't actually contacted any firms yet. I need to probably sit through Yelp tonight or tomorrow, start reading a bunch of reviews, and then also do some research on the GE official people and see if there's anyone if I can find any customer comments on how good they are. And then I also want to search to see if anyone has a similar problem to mine. Because, intermittent problems are the worst. It's much better if something is clearly broken, because then you know exactly what needs to be fixed. Scruffy's slow tonight. I kind of expected that, but I expected the slowness to be from the bone and not from all the chicken skin. I don't think Scruffy's that hungry tonight. Probably fed him too much last night, and I'm probably feeding him too much tonight. And he's probably going to be fed too much in the next few nights as well, because I got to get rid of the chicken. So Scruffy's going to live it up for the next few days. So that's another reason I'm not giving him the wet can cat food tonight, because he has all this extra food. It'd be just too much with the wet cat food. So the weather's still hot. It's actually not as bad today. It didn't get as hot as they forecast again, and I think it's actually a tad bit cooler than yesterday. So I'm hoping that I'll get a nice temperature when I go for a run, or if not, maybe a breeze. I see there's a little bit of breeze right now. So the other night when I went for the run, it was kind of stagnant, and so it felt hotter, or it felt hot, even though it was running late. So this Scruffy's going to take a much longer time. I might have to just leave the food and go for my run or something. Or if he eats everything except the bone, he often steals the bone, so he takes the bone out of the bowl, eats it somewhere else. So if he does that, I might just clean up, let him eat the bone in peace. Yeah, I don't think Scruffy's that hungry tonight. Might also be too early for him. So it looked like he still kind of wanted to sleep, even though he came to bed mad early for dinner. May have figured out I've been trying to feed him a little bit earlier recently because of the heat. And I feel bad for him when on those nights where I switch it around and I go out to exercise first and come back late. But right now, the weather forecast looks like it's going to be the same as far as out as the forecast goes, so I don't think I'm going to be making many changes in the next few days. Although I do go out, I have been going out for the bike rides before I feed Scruffy, and I've just been going for the runs after. Problem is, my bike rides take longer. Actually, they're about the same length. Well, actually, no, they're a little longer. So I increased the distance of my routes, so they're closer to 2-hour runs, or 2-hour bike rides now. And that would have me come back after sunset. That's hard to see after sunset. And because I'm riding on roads with cars, I don't like riding in the dark in traffic. So I'm trying to slowly increase the effort on my bicycle rides. So I'm trying to start improving again. Trying to get closer to where I was before I injured myself. I've been taking it easy, trying to rebuild strength and endurance and not re-injure myself. But I think my leg's going to be okay at this point. So I haven't noticed any serious issues with my leg or hip. I did notice there was like a moment of twinge. It didn't hurt or anything, but I noticed that, when I was riding, there was like I noticed a sudden twinge in my joint, or my thigh and hip meat, the inner thigh part. But yeah, it didn't really hurt, but yeah, it worried me a little just because it's not exactly a normal thing, but yeah, it was very quick. It wasn't very intense. Made me a little nervous, but I haven't noticed any ill effects since, so I hope I'll be okay. But yeah, I'm still a little on tilt from the injury, but everything else seems to be pointing towards a recovery so far. So I'm going to start trying to increase the difficulty a little bit, try to get a little better into shape again. Scruffy's not eating the bone. don't think Scruffy wants the bone. Wow. Okay. That's a surprise. Well, I think I'm going to leave the bone out for him, but I'm going to clean up everything else. And if he eats the bone, great. If he doesn't, I'll throw it away. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.